The earliest recorded uses of crystals and esoteric practices date back to the ancient Sumerians, who wrote magic formulas that included crystals around 5,000 years ago. Around the same time, the ancient Chinese were using crystals in medicinal practices and crystal-tipped needles in acupuncture. The ancient Egyptians buried their dead with crystals of all kinds to provide spiritual support in the afterlife, and the ancient Greeks thought that rubbing crushed crystals over their bodies made them invincible. In Plato's account of Atlantis, crystal healing is also mentioned. According to Plato, the Atlanteans used crystals to read minds and transmit thoughts. The practice of scrying, a form of divination said to derive from analyzing reflections in the water, metal, or precious stones, has likely been practiced since prehistoric time. But the use of crystal balls can be traced to the ancient Druids, who lived in the British Isles and parts of France during the Iron Age, as noted by Roman author, naturalist, philosopher, and military leader Pliny the Elder. The Druids used polished balls of beryl, which is colorless and as clear as glass in its purest form, but can be many different colors depending on its impurities. Scrying or crystal gazing exploded in Europe during the early Middle Ages, when countless wizards, sorcerers, oracles, and seers began using crystal balls to see the future and tell fortunes for classes of all people, both rich and poor, regardless of their religious affiliation. With Christianity spreading throughout Europe during the Middle Ages, many converts and even devout Christians continued to use crystal balls and scrying to gain hidden knowledge in the form of visions, which they consider to be divine messages from heaven. Crystal gazing is a method for seeing visions achieved through trance induction by means of gazing at crystals or stones. The term crystal gazing denotes several different forms of a variety of objects, and there are several different schools of thought as to the sources of the visions seen in the crystal gazing trance. Crystal gazing may be used by practitioners, sometimes called readers or seers, for a variety of purposes, including to predict distant or future events, to give character analysis, to tell fortunes, or to help others make choices about current situations and problems. Scrying is not supported by science as a method of predicting the future or obtaining information unavailable to empirical investigation. The psychologist Mille Kolpin wrote that crystal gazing allows a form of self-hypnosis, with fantasies and memories from the unconscious of the subject appearing as visions inside of the crystal. Analysis of the content suggests that they are a kind of hallucination that visualizes things in memory or of expectations. Healing stones and crystals are touted as ancient forms of medicine used in Buddhism, Hinduism, and other cultures and religions throughout history. People used to include gemstones in magically healing formulas to heal physical, emotional, and spiritual ailments. The Hopi tribe of North America used quartz crystals to assist in diagnosing illnesses, and as mentioned, Pliny the Elder claimed that certain crystals had medicinal properties. Crystal healing is a pseudoscientific alternative medicinal practice that claims stones and crystals contain healing powers. Practitioners of crystal healing believe that they can boost low energy, prevent bad energy, release blocked energy, and transform a body's aura. One method listed for stone cleansing is to place a stone in direct moonlight to recharge its energy. Another standard method of cleansing crystals is by using running water. In the past, the Cherokee tribe kept crystals as their most sacred possession. They believed that the crystals held the energy of their ancestors, and that you could use the crystal in a way to communicate to them during times of need. Some Cherokee homes had huge caches of crystals from many ancestors, kept almost as a library. If someone discovered the crystals and handled them improperly, the connection to their ancestors could be broken and then lost. The conjurers of the tribe wore their crystals on their bodies. The crystals worked for their protection as well as keeping the history and traditions of the tribe. Conjurers, or priests, were once a noble term the Cherokee used to call both men and women magicians. During the forced removal of the Cherokee, known as the Trail of Tears, many tried to hide or bury their family crystals from the soldiers that were coming in. Sadly, nearly all were found and destroyed. In Elden Ring, the Crystalians appear as crystallized humanoids, living glintstone, found typically in areas obviously associated with crystals, like the Academy Crystal Cave or the Altus Tunnel. They utilize pure crystal weapons that may be made out of the same material as the Crystalians themselves. Glintstone, a material used by mages to produce their sorceries, is a type of crystal stone found to be lodged into the earth of the lands between. The stone is theorized to be a falling cosmic dust or meteorite that crashed into the earth from the sky above. Quick side note, Olivine, like Glintstone, is a crystal found in the earth's upper mantle, as well as the moon and stony meteorites. The hydration and carbonation of olivine, the most common mineral on Earth, produces a large amount of heat. This reaction is too slow for normal technological applications, but when thermally well isolated, it could have many applications for the future of sustainable energy as a super green fuel. This term refers to the fact that this energy production is not associated with CO2 production. Instead, it sequesters CO2 while producing energy. Schools of sorcery found in the Raya Lucaria Academy gain their power from the celestial bodies of the night sky. Ancient sorceries are derived from the primeval current, which are labeled a forbidden practice within the Academy. Renala may have classified it as a forbidden practice due to its dangerous nature or because its power is acquired from the stars and not the moon. Grandmasters Lestat and Azur were banished from the Academy for their use of the primeval current, and both have altered themselves to learn the wisdom of the stone, their physical appearance now reflecting the Crystalians. Petrifaction is defined as turning people into solid stone, and is associated with the legends of Medusa. Medusa had the power to petrify anybody who met her gaze. Similarly, practitioners of the primeval current blindfold themselves to avoid directly viewing it. Witnessing the current was part of the Grand Master's crystallization process. The primeval current has a deep connection to the creation of the universe, a birthplace for stars, and possibly a black hole. The practice of the current results in graven mass schools of mages that have been transformed into stone spheres, called seeds of stars. Crystalians taught sorcery to those at the Academy, a group known as the Crystal Cadre, as well as the Carian royal family about the powers of the Glintstone. Many powerful sorceries and incantations within the lands between are taught by outer gods, or beings from the void of space. The Crystal Sword mentions a theory that the Crystalians yearn for the return of their creator, who will carve for them new brethren. It also mentions that they safeguard their crystals until the end. Is their creator the primeval current? Check out how the Comet Azur, a primeval spell, matches the Crystal Torrent, a Crystallian sorcery. Sorceress Selene explains that Glintstone is the amber of the cosmos. Golden amber contains the remnants of ancient life and houses its vitality, while Glintstone contains residual life. Selene also fuses her essence into the primal Glintstone, showing that Glintstone can contain an individual's essence, or soul. In this way, Crystallians may reflect the Cherokee tribe in the belief that crystals contain their ancestors, or a connection to past lives, which may just be the wisdom of the stone. Selene believes to be a child of the stars. The Crystallians also appear to be tied to Glintstone, and therefore could be theorized as the ancestors of the astrologers. Crystal release is yet another direct connection to the cosmos. It mentions crystal rain, which is a real occurrence, as shown by the NASA's Spitzer Space Telescope, which detected tiny green crystals raining down on a developing star. The sorcery description also mentions the crystal sun, which is the transformation of a star or sun into a crystallized sphere. White dwarfs are hot, dense remnants of long-dead stars, and they undergo a process where their inner cores crystallize over time. Billions of years from now, our own sun will die, and it is theorized that the sun will likely turn into a giant space crystal about the size of our Earth that will mark the spot where our solar system once was. Crystallians are often found sitting lotus style in deep meditation. Lotus is a cross-legged sitting meditation pose from ancient India. It is also an ancient asana in yoga and is widely used for meditation in Hindu and Buddhist traditions. Ekagata is a Pali-Buddhist term meaning tranquility of mind, one-pointedness, or unification of mind. An old saying goes, "He who is concentrated knows and sees according to the truth." One-pointedness temporarily inhibits sensual desire, a necessary condition for any meditative attainment. Interestingly, the process of crystallization with the Glintstone firefly also results in an inability to beguile potential mates, similar to how the one-pointedness inhibits sensual desire. In closing, the Crystallians are living Glintstone that may have been created by the primeval current. They reside close to areas that contain Glintstone, possibly to protect the stone itself. Glintstone may hold the souls of past lives, as the primal Glintstone blade was used in the past by old sorcerers to slice open their own hearts to imbue a primal Glintstone with their soul. The idea of transferring your soul from an organic form to an inorganic form may be the sorcerer's way to achieve immortality through the wisdom of the stone. Thank you so much for your time today, and as always, I hope you have a wonderful week.